The US court exonerated the Supreme Court of Hinduism on the false accusation of rape. But the case in India still delayed. Why? What happened to the evidences submitted for the legal proceedings? What the Supreme Court of India states on this matter? Why the Interpol denied to issue any notice against the Supreme Court of Hinduism? Today, I will answer all these questions because Hindu-phobic and Hindu media elements continue to deny the truths. And moreover, I will prove once again, not only spiritually, medically, scientifically, and even legally, all the false allegations done on Supreme Court of Hinduism, not only they are false, they are impossible. Before we even start, I want to set the facts straight. Despite nearly 15 years of malicious prosecution in India, the SPH has not been convicted of any crime. First, spiritually, the Supreme Court of Hinduism was initiated into Bharasanyas, a lifestyle of monkhood, at the age of 3. So from childhood, he has built a yogic body, which is fundamentally incapable of any sexual activity. So all the false allegations of rape done against Supreme Court of Hinduism, not only they are false, spiritually impossible. I will not leave you here. I will get the medical evidences now. When the false accuser made the same false allegation both in US and India. In India, the state prosecutions, as per the court order, they made a potency test on Swamiji. The report says, first, he has a low level of testosterone, which measured at 12.5 nanogram per deciliter, where the normal value of a common adult man is 250 to 1000 nanogram per deciliter. Second, he has a low releasing hormone, which stimulates the growth of testosterone. Third, he has a bilateral varicose cell and insufficient blood flow. Fourth, along with the low testosterone hormone level, there is a presence of gynecomastia. So this chronic endocrine disorder stands as an irrefutable evidence for his impotence. So all the false allegations made against Supreme Court of Hinduism, not only they are false, medically impossible. All the reports are examined by the various experts on this field. All of them made a one statement straightforward that this low level of testosterone cannot be induced in a short span. It is spanning over a decades. So once again, all the allegations done against Supreme Court of Hinduism are not only false, scientifically impossible. While all these legal proceedings are happening in India, the Southern District Court of Ohio investigated all the evidences and verified the fact and made a judgment exonerating the Supreme Court of Hinduism on this false accusation of rape. Not only that, they penalized the false accuser almost $500,000 US. So once again, all the allegations done against Supreme Court of Hinduism are not only false, legally impossible. But the case in India is still delaying. Why? Because the state prosecution suppressed all the evidences. First, they suppressed the medical reports done on Supreme Court of Hinduism. Second, they suppressed the medical reports of the false rape accuser, which clearly says she has several sexually transmitted diseases. Third, they denied to consider the US District Court Ohio order. Fourth, the statements of 32 witnesses standing with the legal prosecution. This continuous suppression of all the evidences are not only unfair, it is unlawful and fundamentally deprives Supreme Court of Hinduism on a fundamental human rights for fair trial. The Article 14.3b of the International Covenant of Civil and Political Rights (ICCPR) and the Roman State of International Criminal Code Article 64.2 and the International Association of Prosecutors Stands of Professional Responsibility clearly says that right to a fair trial is a fundamental human right and it is globally recognized. As per this, High Court of Karnataka on 2016 and the Supreme Court of India on 2017 verified all the evidences and ordered the trial court to consider all these sterling quality evidences because it very much proves the Supreme Court of Hinduism is innocent of all the false allegations. Despite all this, all the evidences are suppressed. Let me come to the question about the Interpol. Res Judicata. It is a fundamental principle of international law, meaning matter already judged. When a matter has been adjudicated and a final judgment is rendered in a one court, other courts and other jurisdictions are obliged to uphold and respect the judgment. It is recognized in Indian and US legal system. The United Nations and many other international organizations like Interpol and the International Court of Justice consider res judicata as a fundamental principle of international law. So the Interpol considered all these facts and they recognize the US judgment because the US judicial system continuously ranked higher in the international assessment of rule of law compared to India. So they categorically refused all the records for issuing any notice against the Supreme Court of Hinduism. So this refusal of Interpol underscores the univocal and international recognition of Supreme Court of Hinduism's legal exoneration. So after this, even the Indian judicial system, Bangalore Court on 27th May 2019 upheld the US District Court order and they have also penalized the false rape accuser almost $500,000 in Indian currency. So considering all these facts, the pending case in India is bound to be disposed. This anti-Hindu media, Hindu-phobic and Hindu-mesic media elements continuously suppress this truth because this is a bias they are continuously doing for the minority indigenous Hindu tradition and their community and their leaders. But understand, global Hindus have woken up. You cannot manipulate them anymore. So publish this truth as it is now. DOT topic. The US court exonerated the Supreme Court of Hinduism on the false accusation of rape. But the case in India still delayed. Why? What about the evidences submitted for the legal proceedings? What the Supreme Court of India states on this matter?